What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Ocean. Ocean's View, the podcast. I'm your host. Shout out to little brother Devin Epps. Willie Negro.
What's good?
Special guest, my homegirl Sheena. She decided to grace us with her presence.
What's up?
Yeah, what's up? So what you call it? I don't really like to talk about the ladies, but none of the ladies are present or whatever. So she decided to come on for good things about it and everything. So we gonna see where it's at today. We want y'all to show love. I don't want her to be shy. Everybody's gonna say what they gotta say. We're gonna keep this thing going.
That's right.
There's been another shooting. So we're gonna take a quick 10 seconds of silence for the people that lost their life up in Philly not even this past weekend. It was less than 24 hours ago.
It's crazy.
All right. Yep. So, but on another note, Monique, because we're here in Baltimore. We gotta
Speaking
go
of
right
shots,
to
I
it.
can't say that.
Gotta talk about it because we're in Baltimore. And Monique she's a native of Baltimore.
Yeah,
She's not. Yeah, she's not really. She's never denied it either. So
It's Queen Baltimore.
I've always liked that about her.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Monique is wildin'. She's wildin'. And the thing about her wildin' is this. I was with her, and so earlier today, before we started talking about this topic, I was at home, and I started thinking to myself, because she didn't just start wildin'.
No. Yeah.
And it was first she had an issue with Tyler Perry,
Yeah.
Lee Daniels,
Yep.
Oprah Winfrey. First off, those three names right there, those are the people that are pushing the envelope. Those are the people that's pressing the button.
People you don't want to have a problem with.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's not about fearing nobody because, black people, we get caught up in this. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care. Look here, I can't speak for my co-host and guests. I know I'm not a millionaire yet. So I got rules and things that I have to abide by for my boss. We all got to answer to somebody.
Right.
And you definitely don't get on the wrong side of the people that can move the needle. We said Oprah Winfrey, because I'm prefacing for y'all because I know y'all got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know y'all got a lot to say. So because I see y'all interested, we just preface this for the audience and y'all. The whole thing is this. I had to start thinking about it. I said, when did she start wilding? And you know what I came up with? After she got that Oscar. Because what the thing is, I'm not even going to say the problem. The thing about it is this. Fat Joe said it after the Locks versus. Yesterday's price is not today's price. But to Monique's defense, she's probably been on that mindset since she got the Oscar for Precious. Yesterday's price isn't today's price. Now it started with this whole issue with her and Netflix and Amy Schumacher making like $15 million. I didn't even know Amy Schumacher was a stand-up comedian.
Amy Schumer.
I said Schumacher. Yeah, I got that.
Schumacher is
from the director.
Yeah, director Joe Schumacher. Right.
So thank you.
Yeah, all right.
I didn't know that she was even a stand-up comic.
Yeah,
whatever. But for whatever reason, I looked it up. She's making like $15 million for the special. I'm not really in the business of counting millionaires' money and how they getting paid because we don't know who had what contract, how many specials it's for. It's a lot to go into. That's like you might hear Tom Brady just got $350 million for Fox when he retires for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's for 10 years. So, but it's over a 10-year span. But at the same time, it's still $350 million.
Right.
So I'm saying all that to say with Monique, I don't know what her number was prior to that.
Right.
Before that, I guess we were all looking at it the same way, like, well, do you sell out like this? Are you on par? And the thing about it is, she was trying to put herself on par, I guess, with Dave Chappelle's, Chris Rock's. These are people that kind of been knocking it out the park for years. And Monique is definitely an OG.
Yeah.
But
she ain't there.
That's the whole thing. And it's like, we're fans.
You do know. She ain't there.
She's not there.
Monique is there was the Queens of Comedy. She did close out the Queens of Comedy. That was one of her lines during the the evisceration of DL Hughley was, he opened the Kings of Comedy and I closed the Queens of Comedy. Like, let's set it straight as levels. But at the end of the day, how long ago was Queens of Comedy? Like,
First, what was her issue with DL Hughley?
Let's get to the bare bones. Let's get down to the nitty. Okay. So
got it?
Yeah, I got this right. The mess is my shit. We got this.
Okay.
All right. So they have conflicting contracts between. There was a show in Detroit,
Fox Theater,
with Monique and DL Hughley. Now, in all intents and purposes, Monique thought that she was the headliner of this show. Now, if we're having a conversation and you tell me that Monique and DL Hughley are doing a show together, I'm probably gonna think DL's headlining that show.
But why do you think that?
Because Monique's not doing anything and DL has a syndicated show that's during rush hour.
So do you?
I click on my radio.
No, I want you to continue.
DL Hughley.
I want you to continue. Only reason why I'm saying that because I know we might get pushed back too because a lot of people think he's the headline because he's a man.
No, it's not even that. No, it's not.
That's part of our reason as well too. Continue.
My notion for him being the headliner is because he has a syndicated radio show right now.
Okay,
that's why. That's why.
All right.
Now Monique had in her contract that she was supposed to be the headliner. Now, her being the headliner of the Queens of Comedy and being 30 years within the business, I can understand why she felt like she was, checked all the boxes to be a headliner. Correct? So I have no issue with that. The issue comes now where DL Hughley contract says that he has final say on whatever the lineup is that's coming in for that show. Okay, so come hell or high water, it's his preference. Now, if he feels like Monique is the better draw, then he could concede and let her do it. But at the end of the day, it's his decision. Monique got her contract signed by whoever the third party here is the promoter, right? Our contract entails she's the headliner. Mm-hmm. DL Hughley's contract entails that he's the headliner. And he has final say. So Monique going off of, boom, my contract says this, why do I have to deal with anything else?
Does Monique's contract say that DL gets final say?
I believe so. I mean, now, I don't know for 100%. 100%, I can't say that because I'm not a lawyer and I have not seen that in the detail. But the way that Monique is wilding, I'm going to assume that it wasn't on there.
But that sounds like an issue with the promoters.
That's what I said.
I feel like that's the true villain.
That's an issue with them.
Yes, and I feel it's an issue with promoters, and they caused the rift. Now, and just for this particular situation, because how she's been handling how she deals with. First of all, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. This is going back. I thought it was a little crass when, like, Monique, you're still black woman of set elegance. Mm-hmm. You can't be on stage telling Oprah to suck your dick. That's where are you going with this?
Whole thing, though, right? That's Monique's. She's raunchy. She's outrageous. She says whatever she feels.
I kind of want to hear from the Baltimore woman that's in the room.
I mean, that's just how he is sometimes. I'm sorry, people keep coming at you. We want to speak our mind. We don't give a F. Can I say the word?
You can say whatever you want.
We don't give a fuck how you feel. At the end of the day, if everybody gonna keep coming at you, speak your mind. But what I don't respect is when she talked about DL Hughley, situation with his daughter, being touched or whatever by his friend. That was a low blow. Yeah, and we do give low blows too. Yes, we do. But I would have not spoken on that because you don't know how she feel, his daughter, how she feel about that. Where she's at in her healing process. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's conquering up things that, that she probably had trying to get over and stuff like that, trying to put behind her and everything. But as far as Monique speaking her mind against everybody else, I'm all for it. I don't care.
That's a great
You know what I mean? I'm all for it.
Yes,
I'm all for it.
It's a great
Fuck everybody, Monique. That's right. I'm with you. Baltimore, we right here with you. We gonna ride and die with Monique. I'm sorry. But we gotta, right is right and wrong is wrong. That was a low blow. but we take low blows too. You know what I mean? When people taking low blows at us and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But, you know, I just don't agree with that part as far as, you know, his daughter situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's, you know, she is listening and watching everything too. You don't know how she feel about that. But as far as say whatever you want to say about DL Hughley, I don't care. Fuck Oprah Winfrey. I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? You know, they ain't putting no money in our pockets. Who gives a fuck at the end of the day?
But they are putting money or taking money away from her.
Right.
Because the whole point is this, and even with what you said at the end, that can be said for us literally sitting in this room. Mm-hmm. Because right now, by the way, it's not fuck Oprah with me.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Oshin'sView can and will accept a contract as their own network.
well, what I'm saying is basically like not fuck her like that, but like who really cares about like, you know, people beef these days? It's just like, you know, how can I say it? You know, us as blacks, we can do better as far as, you know, how we go about things and stuff like that. We the only race that's like at each other neck right now. You know, we can do a little bit better, but I'm not saying like fuck her. You know, take my head off to Oprah. She worked at Channel 13 News here.
Yeah, right, she did.
You understand what I'm saying? So I got mad respect for Oprah, but what I'm saying is like who really like, you know, really cares about all that stuff right now. It's real life stuff going on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like I said, like I wouldn't take that low blow. Monique was wrong. Right, wrong was wrong.
My problem with
I'm with Monique though.
My problem with Monique is 100% communication.
Yeah.
I too would probably be upset if I thought I was the headliner and I wasn't the headliner. But it's a way to deal with it. Yeah, it's a way to communicate. You know what I mean? If, to my understanding, this was the first show of many.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This was supposed to be the first show. Like, yo, you can headline next time. Or that conversation. Maybe you won't. Maybe maybe you could just be mad. But my thing is, it's a way to communicate these things. You know what I mean? She felt done wrong by Netflix. Mm-hmm. I understand her going to social media for that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if I agree with her or not. But I understand that because it's not really a way to have a conversation with. The conversation lines might have been disconnected. Like she wouldn't be able to get her point across. But you can speak to DL. Like you can speak. Like some of these people you can speak to. Like it's his thing. He took a chance on you. Like, hey man, she's funny. Let's bring her on. You know what I mean? Like it's in everything is communication. Her with Lee Daniels, her with Oprah, and you don't even hear Tyler Perry really speaking ill of her. It's just like, yo, it's like, hey man, she got some ways with her that's a little crazy that we don't want to deal with.
Yeah, it's the industry. It's film production companies. It's Lee Daniels. It's BET. It's it ain't nobody left but 50. That's the only person that she can work with at this point.
Right.
And I hope the best for her, but it's common denominator at this point.
Absolutely.
We may be with you, Mo, but it's the execution, baby. that's killing me right now.
Why do you think that is? Because I'm not putting it all on. She just a chick from Baltimore.
No, it's some thinly veiled, like, to me, it's sheep's and wolf clothing, because when she gets on, wolf in sheep's clothing, because when she gets on these lives and she's, trying to present her case, she's giving you this sweet baby act, this it's all love and Mother Earth bullshit. But when you get on stage, everybody's a motherfucker. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that you weaponize, femininity, black femininity, but at the same time, you bring up DL Hughley's daughter situation. It's those type of things where it's like we can rock with you if you keep this shit at a good level, but when you take these low blows, Mo, you compromise your character. You gotta check the messenger.
I agree with Oshin because when she got the Oscar, the price was supposed to go up, but I empathize with her because it just seemed like her Oscar ain't Oscaring.
Right.
Her joint ain't really doing what it's supposed to do. And
One is kept. I'm glad you said that because last few people that I remember with Oscars, of course, we got Jamie Foxx caught his around that time as well too.
Yeah.
Has Jamie Foxx's really been Oscaring either? But he not acting like that.
But
see what I'm saying?
But you know, Jamie, we all
anticipate Jamie Foxx. See, we can't say that because he's been in some movies and he's been in some bad movies, but we don't know what that check looked like. Just because they didn't do well, don't mean that check wasn't right.
She might be the first person to win an Oscar and be blackballed after that.
Wow.
I think.
Do you think it got something to do with her husband?
It definitely has something to do with her husband, and it's like, well, I don't want to blame him completely because she has to have a comrade, and who better than your spouse? Now, my thing is
it could be somebody better than her spouse.
She's moving. Before I get to the husband, she's moving in an entitled fashion, and that's the part that I got an issue with. Now, I don't have an issue with it because you feel about yourself how you feel about yourself. Your accolades are your accolades, so I understand all that. But at the same time, you've been in the business long enough to understand how a lot of this works. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I can't play this. I'm pretty sure, of course, she knows her resume. But if I think of her resume off top, only thing I'm thinking of is Precious, The Parkers, Queens of Comedy. She did have a late night show that kind of was as short as the Vibe joint with Chris, whatever his name is. So it's like, I'm not saying from our standpoint as consumers and people that watch, we're only looking at that and being like, well, you did this, you're a millionaire, we get it. But we don't see you blockbustering. Nah. You see what I'm saying? And maybe, like y'all said, maybe the checks are looking a certain way. But I think what she's doing, she's looking at other checks. Yeah. And we all, I'm going to say one thing, because I want to get out of this, you know what I'm saying, because it ain't all about Monique. But the whole thing is this. We all know the answer. Yo, I don't look at nobody else's pockets. That's bullshit. We all look at other people's pockets. Now, you may not make a big deal of it, but you definitely, even in that joke that Dave Chappelle said when he got the joke about taking his son to see a Kevin Hart show, and he was like, what do you need $250 for? Oh, the ticket's $125. He said, damn, mine's only $80. Right. It was funny, but there's a lot of truth for that. Right. Now, I'm not saying Dave Chappelle's up there pocket watching Kevin Hart, but even for that, it's like, damn, he get $125, I get $80. Damn, I'm making millions still. But damn, I can imagine what that extra $40 would do to this or whatever, because it means something. Now, us as consumers, once again, we don't understand. We're not feeling sorry for nobody. We're not feeling sorry for nobody because y'all millionaires at the end of the day. All of y'all are pretty well off. But I'm just saying, to close it out, like Devin said, it's execution. I'm personally not rocking with our execution. Right. I put this. I don't know the last Monique joke I could think of because every time they show a clip of her at her shows, she's ranting. Like, I don't even know what the show is. Normally, she'll have some jokes. She'll be like, man, that was funny when she started talking about this. It's all rants, and especially, you're smarter than this. She just on stage cussing up a storm. After a while, you just feel flawed. That's how it sounds. Right. And I'm like, you've been in this business long enough to understand that this is not the way to go. Right. I was told, y'all want to hear something funny? I was told the other day, I was commenting on social media, and it's a friend of mine. She says, I disagreed with something she said. And she was like, don't worry about him. He has an agenda for everything, and everything he talks about is agenda laced. And I was like, there's some truth to that. Yeah. There's some truth to that. And because you can't always just brush people off just because, you put a certain image out to people and they can only go off of that. So clearly we've been friends long enough on it that she came up and she surmised that I have an agenda with things. And so I started thinking to myself, what are some of my main agendas and things that I kind of always get into? This whole thing, I'm tired of every commercial I see. It's always a white guy with a black woman. Now let me clear that up. I am not against interracial dating, interracial marriages. What I'm saying is, I need to see the balance in it though. I rarely see the commercial with the black guy, the black man, and the white woman.
Yeah.
Now, point this. Now, I know a lot of people going to look at this and be like, this is the killing part for me with that. People are always, whenever you say you don't see something, somebody always name it the one time they see it.
Yeah, right.
So, and my thing is, if you've seen it, if you can count how many times you've seen it, then that shows you how little it really is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
And just follow me for a minute because I want y'all to really know where I'm going with this. So even with that, with the commercials, I'm gonna tell you when I really did start noticing it the most in horror films. Now horror films are some of my favorite. That's my favorite genre, and it's not just that. It happens in horror films and dramas too.
Okay.
When it's a black woman with a child that left her family, or the husband, either they got divorced, something happened, she has to move in with a relative. She's either have to move in with a relative or she's in the shelter. She's living destitute somewhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Flip the page.
Right.
Every damn horror film and drama that I see, when the white woman gets left by her husband, he leaves her this 6-bedroom house.
Palatial estate.
Hold up. He leaves her this 6-bedroom house, and she works at a fucking diner.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm looking and the theory is, well, Karen is having a rough time. She's trying to get back on her feet. Karen needs to sell that goddamn house. Sell that house and be right back on.
Right.
Like, that's the killer to me.
Don't go before, Karen.
Like, no, it kills me because, yo, we're homeowners. 6-bedroom houses don't come cheap.
Right.
No disrespect to anybody that works in a diner.
Right.
But unless you own that diner,
Right.
you not affording that on a waitress salary.
Right.
But this is what they do in the movies, and I don't want to name the movies, but y'all all have seen movies and dramas where it's like, oh, she's struggling, and she got this big ass house, and she's been struggling the whole time. So my agenda with that is not only that damn Scandal. Remember that show? You got Fitz, the white president, and Kerry Washington, who made up bones as, what is her name? Olivia Pope. They was like, well, that was different. Well, he's the damn president. What you expect? I give credence to that. I understand that. But they're not doing it the opposite way around. They're really putting it that way. So my thing is, what is the message they're really trying to send to us?
Right.
That's my question. What y'all think with that one?
Well, I'm gonna swing this one to you, bro. How do you feel about this one?
Honestly, if I'm gonna be 100% correct, all right. I don't want to serious it out, but it goes back a long way, man. It goes back a long time. Like at a time, it was illegal to look at white women, man. For black men. I don't think that this country is ready for a lot of the race talk that it needs to have. I don't think it's an accident. It's on purpose. They don't want the image of a black man with a white woman. It still is a stain on the white supremacy that this country is founded on. Pretty much. That's it. That's why it's the same thing that we still don't have descendants of slaves in the White House as the president or the vice president. Right. When you really think about it, Barack Obama's still not a descendant of slaves. You know what I mean? His people was from Africa, not American. And same thing with Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? It's certain things like that you look at and you like, it's interesting.
Hold up. Kamala Harris as the
vice president.
It's vice president, yeah.
Oh, you mean her that's married to a white guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, no, like this stuff ain't made up. This ain't made up. And it's just like, they don't, my thing is the whole imagery of black men. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I start thinking of the Mandingo years and stuff like that. And I think subconsciously that's still in the minds. You see what I'm saying? Like, never mind the ravage and raping that they did of our women. You see what I'm saying? Right. But the image of big butt, black, the bald head, you know what I'm saying? Dick, 12-inch long, it's like that. Like, cause that's what it is. That's what it is. They afraid of the Johnson. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit with that. Let's just be perfectly honest. I tried to dance to
You tried to dance. You gotta put on tape.
Show.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, please, like these niggas was
Yeah,
walking.
but they love clapping our ass though, don't they?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. These niggas is walking around like, yes, sir, ma'am. They throwing that shit over their shoulder and all that, and that's what they getting out of it. And it's like, as time goes on, and I just said to everybody, put their joint on vibrate. It's cool though.
So, but we gotta understand that to not be too self-aware. We're complaining about things that have been a thorn in the side of the black women for years and years. But what's really not being said is it's out there. Why is it not being represented? The same way you can represent gay marriage, you can represent anything else that you want to push politically. If this is real, why is it not being seen just as much as anything else? If it wasn't a different agenda.
Yo, did y'all ever have like an interracial relationship?
Yeah. No.
Like a relationship.
Yes, I'm sorry. I've ate pork.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
See, first
outrageous.
See, the problem is
that's crazy.
First off, that was a movie quote. That's the one. Right. That was from Malcolm X. He's like, I've ate pork. I was about to tell you, to answer your question, I've ate pork. I've slept with white women. I've committed crimes. I haven't committed no crimes. But, you know what I'm saying? I haven't had a relationship with a white female. But I did get in trouble for dealing with one before.
Wow.
If you want to call it trouble.
Right,
So anyway, story time. So, it's about, I'm maybe 15 years old or whatever. My cousin, not going to say, I'm not saying no names no more. Everybody gets in the system whenever you mention names. So, my cousins, they went to predominantly white schools.
Right.
And so, their friends lived in Long Island, in Babylon, and Amityville and stuff like that. Babylon is like a rich part of Long Island and stuff like that. Okay. So anyway, we go out there to deal with them or whatever. They're like, yo, come up there and everything. That was funny because I'm like the street cousin or whatever. Grew up in Harlem, went to school in Harlem, the Bronx and stuff. So that was my role around them. So anyway, we get out there. Excuse me. The joint is just like a movie. Like what I mean by the movie is, how you watch the movie where you see the parents like, okay, Josh, we're going off to Europe. Don't mess up the house. Here's the keys to the Bentley. The shit was just like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I remember they asked me about, they said, you eat pizza? Now I'm thinking, it was about 6 or 7 of us. I'm thinking, all right, that's 2 pies at best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they was like, they were like, what they said, they was like, yo, what do you like? I was like, I like pepperoni. So they was like, I'm thinking, they gonna get half pepperoni, half cheese. These motherfuckers ordered singular whole pies for everybody. Okay. So I'm just showing y'all what the vibe was. So after we did all that, what do young kids at that age like to do? Because that was around the time people started drinking and smoking. Now I didn't indulge in either, and I tried to fake for a second, but because I wanted to be included, but it was just like I didn't want them to know. So as the joint is coming around to me, and I don't even think it was a blunt, I think it was a joint. Yeah, it was for real. Okay. So they passed it to me. I'm like, I'm waiting till like they turn their head, and I'm like, oh, it's big. It's just crazy. Y'all know I'm over actor, so I'm in there shit like, woo. You know what I'm saying? High it off. So after everybody finished getting high and drinking and smoking, so we inside this big ass house. That's when the separation starts to come. Because it's clearly 7 females. It's about 6 of us dudes. And one was like, she was terrible. So it was just like, whoever's going to get caught with us, going to get caught with her. And the ratio was like 5 white women and 2 black girls. One being my cousin.
Right.
So she's
already off.
Right.
So I picked one. Right. Or whatever. It went down. Or whatever. Somehow it got discovered that it went down. And the black chick that I was messing with that went to my cousin's school found out. And I remember because she gave me a whole speech on how could you do this? Her ancestors owned ours and all this other shit. And I was like, what? Like I'm on the phone like, is this really the conversation? Or whatever. And it was just, you gotta figure this, the early 90s, it wasn't super popular to really be dealing with white women openly. You see what I'm saying? That's where a lot of it came into play as well, because that was kind of the thing. Well, I'll sleep with them, but I ain't messing with them. You see what I'm saying? Type thing. And I believe a lot of it is where you live at as well. I'm not just talking about New York or Baltimore, things like that. I'm talking about like if your area is that's all it is.
You're going to date.
You're going to date what's in your proximity. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Didn't really run into too many white boys. I want him to talk about this, and I wanted to hear what Sheena said. But you know what kind of always kind of got me a little bit like, this is funny with white people. It was this one chick, and you know what I'm talking about. She was super thick to be white. Ridiculous. I'm talking about like, if she wasn't white, I'm like, this chick's black. You know what I'm saying? Her body was ridiculous. I'm talking about curvaceous and everything. And my man was like, she don't mess with black dudes, but she mess with white dudes that act like they black. I said, you one of those. You one of those. But that goes back to what I was saying with the distance of Drake. Like, some people is like, I don't want to mess with somebody black, but I'll mess with somebody that tries to act like it and don't want to do-rag knowing damn well your hair is straight. You ain't doing nothing and stuff. Right. So that's it. But she said she had a situation with somebody.
Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah, well, I had a situation where as though I caught my ex-boyfriend in the bed with a white girl.
What?
Yes.
Literally in the bed?
Literally on top of her fucking. Yeah. So.
No, you gotta hear this one. Do not show your business.
Can't get more court than that.
So this is not a movie.
No, this not no movie. This is like serious, like.
Okay. Whose house was it?
It was, where he stayed at and everything,
So you popped up.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
And I really didn't pop up. I came to get, some money.
Okay.
So we just came from out eating and stuff, and like 20 minutes later, he in the house on type of a white girl. So I'm looking like, what the fuck is going on here? They actually fucking,
How long was you at the door?
His homeboy opened up the door for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
What would he do?
I walked up the steps.
He let you walk up the steps?
Yes, the fuck he did.
So hold on, did you come to the door like on murder time?
On the door like
Okay.
All right.
And then he opened up the door. I was like, where, my man at?
Question. So when you knocked on the door, what was the homeboy wearing?
Clothes.
Okay, no, I was going.
Right.
It might have been a jump off situation.
It wasn't a jump off, you know what I mean? But, I went upstairs and opened up the door. The lights was off. I turned the lights on. And it was fucking.
It kept going?
Yeah. I don't even want to say what happened, but because I don't want to incriminate myself.
Well, all right.
I guess we know what happened.
But it's just, it's a hurting feeling. You know what I mean? To see something like that,
So after you committed the crime, I'm messing around.
What you're saying is it hurt more because it was a white woman?
Good one.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
What?
But I'm not going to say it hurt more because it was a white woman, because I would have been hurt the same if it was a black woman too. Right. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm like, like, God damn, like, the fuck? I don't want to sound, bitch, don't. The fuck you trying to kill me? The fuck you laying down with this shit and trying to bring me something back?
Jesus Christ.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, the type of person I've been, like, faithful for like 10 years. You
faithful to this dude for 10 years?
Yeah, like never cheated on anything, and then like I had enough. I just started doing me after that. Like,
y'all stay together?
No, we ain't together no more. I crip walked out that relationship. Spelling my name on the ground, bye. But but that was a terrible experience for me. That was real bad. So.
To have dough or not have dough? That is the question. Shakespeare actually didn't ask that one. That's just me. So, once again, see, I have a lot of these conversations because my core audience is women. To be perfectly honest, talking to the ladies out here. Because the guys, our barbershop talk is a little different when it comes to this particular topic. The breadwinner matters. A lot of women feel that if they're the breadwinners in the household, that the man can't handle it. And there's a lot of truth to that. Two things can be true. The thing about it is this. After hearing that song and dance played out so much, I started thinking to myself, like, is it that every guy really is intimidated by his woman making more money? Or is it the woman can't handle being the one at the top of the food chain and making the decisions or being the breadwinner? And you know why I came up with that one from? Is because it goes against the fairy tale.
Right.
Women, all women of all walks. They can say this Miss Independent thing and all that. I get that when you're not in a relationship.
Right.
I encourage every woman of any race to be Mrs. Independent. I get it. But to say that you're living your life to be that, like you're aiming for that, that's not true. You want the guy that's either equally yoked, but most times you want him a little higher, especially financially. So if that woman is making 100, she would probably want a dude that's either making 200 or at least 150 or whatever. See, because women got this whole thing of, I need to be able to depend on you if something goes wrong.
Right.
That's their favorite line.
Yeah.
Now, the whole thing is this. Guys, we're taught to be the hunters, the protector, the providers. So, and before I want to sidebar this part too, I'm going to look at the camera for this one. Women don't get that how much men beat up ourselves because we're not able all the time to be the provider financially. We're talking finances right now.
Right.
I'm not even talking about the other ways of showing security because it's deeper than just finances.
Right.
But the guy, trust me, no woman on this planet can beat up a guy more than he beats himself up about not being able to really provide financially for his woman.
Right.
If it was up to every guy on the planet, every guy will make way more money than their woman, pay all the bills, do everything. But that's just not the case. And when that's not the case, I'm sorry, women will say it doesn't matter until it does matter. Because that's when the jabs start to come. The slights of respect. And that's the part that I can't respect when women do stuff like that. And this is not me about beating up women. It's just the point of it goes against the fantasy. Because the fantasy, most women just want to be housewives. Now, I'm not saying all of them, because I don't want to get killed for that one. I'm not saying that that's their goal to be housewives. What I'm saying is for the guy to be in control of everything, and all I have to do is just show up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, I'm going past...
Or does it go against the order of how things are?
Yes, it definitely goes against the order. It definitely goes against the order.
Because men, like you said, are raised, bred, taught to be providers, protectors, and provide security. Right? So, a part of that is financial stability and financial security. I think that women can be good with being the breadwinner until it gets tight. Because when it gets tight, then they look to the person for security. And I think it's natural to ask, yo, what are you doing?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, I think that it takes a person that's outside of the norm to accept that type of thing. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. I think that what happens is it's just nature that you look at somebody, you not down on, but you look at somebody as less than the typical man when you're in a relationship, when a woman's in a relationship with him and they're not providing when it gets tight. See, everything is fine when the money is flowing.
Right.
Everything is good when the money is flowing. Oh, she making all the money, we doing all this, we going on trips. everything is cool. But then when they get a little bit of a little tight, and they're like, oh man, where this money gonna come from? And they look over here and like, oh, you only make, and you only, it's only natural for them to look at you like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how women are wired. They're wired for the fairy tale. They're wired that way. They're supposed to be taken care of and things like that. And men are wired the opposite. That's why men beat themselves up. Because whenever it get tight, we not looking there. We like beating ourselves up. Like, yo, what are we supposed to be doing? Like, I'm supposed to be able to I'm supposed to be able to do this. So I think in some ways it's kind of natural. And that's why men tend to stray away from those type of relationships. You can call it insecure about not being the breadwinner, but men stray away from that because it's the natural order for me to provide. Like, yo, if I make $200,000, I'm not looking for a woman that make $300 most of the time. Like, yo, I'm cool. Like, yo, you can make your little 50 and I'll take care of you. You be good. Because that's the natural order of things. You see what I'm saying? That where it gets tough is when women make a lot of money. You know what I mean? If I make $200, then it's slim pickings out here if I'm a woman. You see what I'm saying? Right. It's slim pickings out here.
I want you to keep going, but I'm going to tell you this. I always have a problem with that. I'm going to tell you why I got a problem with that. When it comes to this so-called slim pickings, if a woman, because you just do the number 200 out there, fine, stay there. This is my thing. Everything that's done, crime, anything that's done harmfully against somebody, it's always done, like Devin said earlier, in this proximity. So what's your circles? Because you make it 200,000, I'm assuming those are circles you in. So this is my thing, why are you not finding these guys in those circles?
What I'm saying is when you get to those circles, they get smaller.
Yeah.
They get smaller.
Okay.
When you get up there, the circles get smaller.
Okay.
The men get taken, and that's what I mean. And sometimes women, it might be something else. You know what I mean? Women can't find that guy, so they go outside of their circle. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. The higher you up, the smaller the circle goes. You know what I mean? The billionaires is only a tiny circle of billionaires. Then you get down to millionaires, and then the circle get a little bit bigger. But then you get down to 100,000aires in circle, and then you get down to broke niggas, and it's a billion of them.
Yeah. It makes sense. Makes sense.
You know, so that's kind of my view on it. Me personally, I always want to be the breadwinner in my relationship. But you know, as somebody who's been the breadwinner in my relationship, I would accept if she made a little bit more money. She could be a millionaire all she want to. I'm cool.
But this is my thing. It's something you said earlier too. So is it fair for us to put somebody? Because what I heard, what you said, a lot of it was somebody's got to be a security blanket. So when I'm hearing that somebody's got to be a security blanket somewhere, so this whole theory of relationships really being 50-50, that's just a fairy tale as well too.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
100%. But it's not necessarily in percentages though. It's about what you need in the relationship. Mm-hmm. I need you to give me 100% of what I need, and I'll give you 100% of what you need. You see what I'm saying? I may not need financial stability from you, but I provide that. You see what I'm saying? I may need nurturing. I may need somebody just to come home to. I may need somebody to build me up. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like that. That's how relationships work. It's not necessarily, hey man, you pay half, you pay half. We support each other. You support me here, I support you there. It's not. It doesn't really work like that. You figure out how and who someone is, and then you support them in the way they need support.
Right. So equally yoked for those, because I'm only reiterating this stuff because I know it's people probably listening and shaking their head, or some is probably agreeing with it. The whole thing, equally yoked, a lot of times doesn't mean dollar amount for dollar amount.
That's the fairy tale within itself, is to find your equal in everything. Like, the shit doesn't happen. You never find a person who's just like you in a different sex. That's not how it works. You find people who like the same things you like, have similar interests, and then you can work off of the differences after that. But to think that everything's going to be, the man is going to make this amount of money and the woman must be able to cook, clean, and think, like, honestly and truly, I feel like cooking and cleaning is a human skill. It's a life skill. Just like having a fucking job is a life skill. It's about you're going to have money because you're an adult. So it's not about, who has more. It's about how we can take our resources, whatever they are, whether it be connections, whether it be finances, whether it be emotional intelligence, and put them together and create a great bond. It's when we get caught up on these things of now we can still have a head of household. Let's not get that misconstrued in any way.
Okay.
You still need a leader. But as far as the breadwinner, it should be about the breadwinner. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all our bread at the end of the day. So whether I'm making the most money or she's making the most money, or we got a fucking child genius who's out here, making the money for us through his talent. It should always be an order to things, and that needs to be what works for those individuals.
As a woman, who you think should always be the head of the household?
Both. Both. But as far as like these days of time, the woman is like basically the head of the household, and
Right.
most households and everything. But as far as like relationships and stuff like that, women are winning out here, and you have a lot of men out here that's really smooching off of women. They are smooching off of women. Women are comfortable with taking care of men. I just don't respect that anymore. Because a lot of men out here, not a lot, a few. You have a few men out here that's comfortable with a woman taking care of them. But like you said, when times get hard and, the money is not flowing in like how it normally would be, when she look at you and like, could you help me with this bill? Because I'm falling on hard times. And you so used to her doing everything. It's like, no, I can't do it. I don't got it. So you looking at the man like, what is you here for? Why are you here? And then you begin to wake up. I experienced it all. But, thank God that I'm woke. It won't never happen again. You know what I mean? It won't never happen again with me. Because I was the breadwinner in a relationship and always was there and done everything. So right now it's like I'm not even looking for nobody that's equally yoked to me. I'm just healing and just I learned from my mistakes. I'm not gonna go out here and try to build a man. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna try to build no man. If you don't come to me, build and got your mind right already, and we can't build together, it's nothing. So I already experienced that. It's not good to, be in a relationship or dealing with someone and you just doing everything, man or woman, but, if he was like more so of like a motivating type person, and had like a Lord, bringing in a Lord something, I would respect that, but, help me when I need to be helped. Help me out a little bit, because some people just get used to you doing everything,
Yeah, because you become more like a parent.
Yeah.
You become more like a parent. Like it's crazy. Like I'm taking care of you. You know what I mean? But even in different situations where I'm bringing something, like a man is bringing something to the table, but may not be as much financially. Right. As a woman, I just feel like, I feel like that matters. Like the dynamics of the relationship are different. You know what I mean? It's hard to lead from behind sometimes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just is. And not saying that it's impossible. You see what I'm saying? It's not impossible.
But it's that connotation within itself, is that because you're not making a set amount of money makes you a less than person.
Right.
Because you're still a man, you're still a protector,
Mm-hmm.
you're still but because I don't make this, I can't lead. And that's the wrong sense to have. And that's why men beat themselves up in general. Now, you need money to live. You need money to do things. Now, it's not wrong to feel less than because you don't have it, but at the same time, it does not make you less than because you don't have it.
Because the thing about it is this. This is why this topic always has me kind of on the seesaw all the time. Because once again, I will say, with the circles getting smaller, you ain't messing with Oprah talking about you equally yoked.
Right.
It's just
right.
like financially, it's just not going to happen. Like you gotta already be somebody. So who's she gonna mess with? My thing, I used to always say when they used to talk about Jada, and I'm not gonna get deep into that, but Jada and Will or whatever. I said, well, if it was based off that, then Will Smith absolutely should have been messing with Julia Roberts.
Right.
Because she makes $23 million a movie.
Yeah, but when you
see
get up, when you get up there, see, I always say money matters until it don't.
This is what I'm trying to say. That's my point. That's my point. My thing is this. When we talk a lot about what else do you bring, it always rounds up back to money, because what about the guy played this? So it's not about just the duties, like you said, life skills and stuff, cooking, cleaning, all this other stuff. So you mean to tell me this dude, just because you make whatever, let's just throw a number out, 75,000 more than them or whatever. Because if somebody's making 75,000 a year, but you making $150, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's always going to be looked. It can always be looked a certain way. 75,000, but she makes 150. 75,000 is not a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? There's people that supporting their family on way less.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But in terms of that dynamic, 150 to 75, a number is still the number. So my thing is, I'm trying to tell a lot of women, dudes, if they're not doing anything to service your soul, then start looking at some other places. My thing is this, because my thing about this head of household, this is what head of household means to me. The person that makes the decision is the same person that may not want the praise, but they're strong enough to handle the blame and when things go wrong.
Right.
That's what all it boils down to. Because like you said, and metaphorically speaking, especially like I will say with the money, when the money's flowing, it's great. Forget that. Everybody can take credit for a good decision.
Exactly.
I need you to take full accountability for a bad decision, because somebody's got to make it. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to equally all the time be like, well, I kind of thought this, he kind of thought this, and we did that. No, life is about a lot of times a lot of tough decisions that have to be made, and somebody's going to have to make it, because sometimes it takes a callous heart to do it. Sometimes it takes, you know what? They're a little too emotional for this one. Why do you think in police, you working for the police department or whatever, if it's a murder and you're close to the situation, they don't put you on the case. They don't put you on the case because you're too personally invested in it. So they're figuring you're going to make a mistake. You're going to do something overzealously because you really want the right thing to happen, but you're willing to go at any cost for it to happen. Exactly. It's the same thing. And it's like, I don't know, it's like I try to preach to women like, look here, I get it. But you don't have to beat the guy up because he doesn't make the bread. Let's see what else he can do. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Because if he's servicing your soul, if he's nurturing, if he's, you know what I'm saying? Right. Yo, I think people sleep on people being a cheerleader. Yeah, we don't need cheerleaders. Right. That support shouldn't only just mean finances. Right. And people, men and women equally, need to understand that it's not always about the money. Yes, we all in life want a safety net. My mother passed in 2002. My safety net for me was gone in November 18, 2002. My safety net left. All that I know. Because all my life, whenever there was a problem, especially financially, I didn't have to ask nobody else. I didn't have to call no other family members. Mom. Right. And that was it. When she left, that was it for me in my mind. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like that. And I went through a lot of stuff by myself because I didn't even know how to reach out to people. Right. You see what I'm saying? Type thing. Luckily, this guy came into my life. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. I can name a few other people that helped me too, but I'm saying all the same with relationships. Support should not just be boiled down to finances. Right. And I think if men and women alike start to look at things that way, we can probably start to see the true value in each other. Exactly. As opposed to what they got. Because guess what? When you out there with your girls and you got your chest out, you got your butt hanging and stuff like that, it's a lot of dudes out here that's looking the part. They looking like they got hundreds of thousands of dollars. They borrowed their man Bentley for the night because I know I've been there before. Right. You know what I'm saying? I got some friends. I can borrow a few vehicles. You know what I'm saying? I can borrow some cribs. If my goal is, you know what? I'm going to pop off this weekend because I got 4 days with this car, 4 days with this condo. Because it's only going to take me 4 days to go get it anyway. Then the woman thinking she done hit the jackpot. No, she done ran into or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Tinder swindler.
Exactly. We just gotta get back to that. So, it's always these conversations that come up. And I need to get some finality on this one because this can change the course of one-night stands between men and women for the worst. I got a friend, I'm not going to say his name. My man Willie Negro knows him. Knows him well because it was his old roommate. So if you know, you know.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just about, because I don't you like, yeah, I know. Me and them used to have this back and forth about one night stands. He was and this part of the conversation for myself is going to sound real misogynistic. It is what it is.
That's what it is.
We got to pass.
Yeah, right. No, sound
last week. But, so, me and him, he's a guy, good looking dude. We used to, not really battle about who got more women, but, we was at a barbecue one time. We get into talking about who does their thing because our groups, well, not groups, we all one. They see some of our groups see him doing his numbers, like, yo, he be doing his numbers. And it's like, yo, he be doing his numbers. But me and this cat, we never really hung out outside of just the group.
Okay.
So now we just got to talk about it. So we going back and forth. We're not arguing, mind you. We just, friendly banter. One day I got this, you ain't. And so I brought up one night stands. And it was weird to me. He's not weird, but it was weird to me when he said he doesn't like one night stands. I was like, damn. I was like, why not? His reasoning was because it was a lot of precautionary reasons behind. It was more related to safety and stuff like that, which is valid. Right. But it kind of in my mind, I'm like, you people that ain't super, getting set up like that. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Okay. But even though it's a real thing, luckily he's never had the experience that I never did either. Right. So the thing about a one night stand is, first of all, there's a few layers to a one night stand. One night stand could be defined as you meet a woman, meet a guy that night, y'all handle your business sexually, and that's it. Right. See, then there's a gray area. If I talk to you the next day and we get up again, was it really a one night stand? You see what I'm saying? Just think on this for a second, or you know what I'm saying, like that. So then it gets to the point of are one night stands controlled, and by controlled I mean I personally always feel the woman gives the go ahead. That's just how I feel. You see what I'm saying? That's how the woman gives the go. Now you can say, because like another friend they used to always say, he said, you don't do your thing, you get lucky. Now
that's the point.
My thing was this. Now I understood that the saying is getting lucky. But after I've had my whatever the wild number was, after a while I started being like, this ain't luck. I kind of know how to.
It's a skill, baby.
Yeah, it's a skill. It's a skill. Like I know how to attack and which angle I'm going to go to put my percentages higher for the one night stand to happen. Or it's like, first of all, my thinking is this. My thinking isn't one night stand. My thinking is just hitting it that night. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Now, most times for me, I'll speak to the woman again. So in my mind, I'm kind of like, that's not a one nighter. But it happened the first night. My thinking is also this too. Do these things happen because men can't handle it or women can't handle it? If y'all want to be shocked, and I want Sheena to go towards this one, and I know y'all thinking too. I personally don't think that women are as liberated with sex as men think that they should be because of men. Because of men. You see what I'm saying? Let me explain that one again. Women are sexual creatures as well. Some might even argue more than us. Right. The problem is this. it's a lot of fuck dudes out here that fuck it up, that make women not be as submissive and not being as openly sexually liberated that way because dudes can't handle it.
Right.
And the reason why I say that, Mr. Oh, you get lucky, she does with everybody. I don't believe that. I don't believe every woman that sleeps with a guy that she met the first night does it with every guy.
Right.
Now, of course, are there situations where that's the case with some super promiscuous women? Yes. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the woman that's about her business, that understands she's making a conscious decision on what she's doing, but this guy kind of checked off the boxes that she's already put in place for herself, saying if a guy, boom, 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 he can get it. See, because us guys hear women say it all the time, oh, he can get it. I don't be thinking dudes realize how much dudes really could get it and how much dudes really fuck it up. Just talk themselves out of the drawers. Because guess what? As much success as I've had, I've had some failures where I have literally had the panties at the ankles, and I just kept running my mouth, and the panties just slowly came back. The number became wrong, everything. So before I pass the mic, my vote and my stance that I'm taking, women aren't as liberated because men cannot handle a woman being as liberated. What you got to say about that one?
Well, I think you're right about, what you just said. But, you got a lot of women out here that's like dudes too.
I want you to explain that, because I hear women say that all the time when they trying to be like, I'm like a dude. Because I don't really buy that one either, but go ahead.
You have some women that's out here like dudes because, of course we came from y'all too. So we do have similar of y'all ways. Not saying that all of us out here, what we call it, freaking off and stuff like that, but, you got, some women that just want to have sex with men that they're attracted to. Like, damn, you're attractive, shit, I want to get them drawers too. You know what I mean? And get them and bags them and be like, go ahead about your business. You know what I mean? But you got women like that too. But I don't see nothing. I don't really see nothing really wrong with it. It's like you just can't, you just gotta know how to control your feelings when it comes down to stuff like that too. Because that's another issue. Some men can't control their feelings. Some get attached. Some women can't control theirs. At the end of the day,
I mean, it is, at the end of the day, it is sex. Once you share your body with somebody, some people think that they have some kind of control or right to you. So, I tend to, to stay away from the one night stand because it has happened, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'd rather get to know you first.
You stay away from one night stands?
I tend to shy away because I'm big on personalities. So if I hit, I'm going to want to be around you.
Yeah, now that you're a man.
I know you, I already fucked you. It's like, God, get away from this bitch. Yeah. That's me.
I can respect that. Me personally, in my experience in my life, I've had longer relationships with women that I've slept with earlier as opposed to later.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel that sex gets made a big deal, too much of a big deal. Yeah. Now, my thing is this. I don't implore anybody to just walk around and sleep with everything moving.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is this. If the vibe is right, because you only know what your vibe is and how the situation is going. Like, I can go into a lot of things, but what I'm saying is this. For the most part, anytime that I've engaged in those, the conversation was there, the vibe was there, the body language was there. So I read the situation for what it was. Uh-huh. Now, granted, there's been times that I've gone there and I'm trying to call them up the next day. Not even so much for sex, just to be like, what's up? And they kind of like, nigga, we good. What's up? Yeah, what's up? You know what we have to do. I don't feel no way because I'm like, maybe I read that situation wrong.
Right.
But a lot of times, I've had the sex earlier, and we've either become friends, or we might even dealt with each other for some months on end. And even after we stopped dealing, we still kind of had a level of friendship there.
Right.
Now, just my man Negro said this years ago too. We was talking, and I don't know if he even remembers. You're not the man until you can turn it down. That's for what?
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Fact.
Like,
That's
so
the man.
it's like, yo, now I don't make it a habit to turn it down. But I do understand there's been times where I felt after I got to the point, because as a young man, you're jackrabbit. And I'm not talking about your actual motion. I'm talking about the opportunities that you take.
Right.
But when you get to the point where you understand, you know what, I can kind of maneuver and do things on my terms now. You start to think, I start thinking to myself like, I'm going to hit this chick. I'm going to do my thing. I really don't want to be with her. Now I got to get rid of her. I don't, and then you be like, you know what?
It ain't even worth it. Exactly. That is right there.
Because I know I can hit it, but I don't want what's coming afterwards.
Exactly.
But the problem still to me is, and I'm not just going to blame this on guys, because I've had women overthink this as well too. I've had women say to me, well, I thought that's all you wanted from me. And I'm sitting there, I was a little thrown off because this one particular female said that to me, and I was like, but every time you came to my house, we talked for like 2 hours. I've asked you about your day. I brought up things from the past that we've talked about. Like, I felt that I showed her.
But I was hitting the notes.
You know what I'm saying? That I'm doing the right thing. But in her mind, until we had that conversation, in her mind, she said all she thought I wanted her for was sex, regardless of how I was treating her.
Right.
I know,
I'm gonna be real.
Go ahead, real.
I've known you for a long time, so in the past, you may have had a reputation for the ladies of getting all the ladies. And so I could understand why she would say, hey man, I thought this was all you want. Now, you also have a reputation for being a nice guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you a cool guy, so yeah, she like, yo, we kick it, we talk, but yeah, we have sex. That's what we do. You know what I mean? I even told the opposite. 90% of the women I ever had sex with wanted to be in a relationship with me. They want to be in a relationship with me. I don't give off the one night stand vibe. You know what I mean? I give off the relationship. We gonna be walking in the park holding hands vibe.
I'm sleeping with you and I'm spending the night.
You know what I mean? You on the other hand, I've seen you at work. You know what I mean? Go out there doing your thing. You know what I mean? And they kind of gravitate to you for a different reason. Like, yo, you the guy. Like, hey, man, tonight, I'm going to get me some of that. You know what I mean? So, to answer one of the other questions, do I think men or women can handle, like, just being in a sexual relationship without catching feelings?
Right.
I think that, obviously, from my experience, I'm going to say, men handle that way better than women, from my experience.
No.
You know what I mean? First of all, because 90% of the women that I had sex with, absolutely, I've had women say, listen, can I just be your girlfriend in Maryland? Or I'm going to need to see you for I need to see you for a few days a week. You know what I mean? As long as you take me out and we can kick it, like we just don't tell me about the other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. They just want to be attached to me. Whereas, not just you. I got friends that, and women that they could just call like, yo, tonight. Oh, yeah, what? All right, then cool. And they fine with that. And they have other, or maybe they not. Maybe they just putting on. Maybe they just acting like they fine with that.
What it comes down to with that, in that sexual relationship, is we look at it as a quick bite to eat. That's fast food. When really to them it's availability. I'm making myself available because that's all he wants right now. So hopefully down the line, he'll see me for more than just sex.
Could have something to do with my theory that men like to have a lot of sex. And women are more sexual. So they give more of themselves. Like men, we busting nuts, we good. I'm cool. Women are more sexual. They want more foreplay. They want to do all the things.
The connection than is the actual act.
Right. Yeah. So they become more invested in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you know, men, some men just, they call us dogs. That's what they call us.
That's what they call us. That's what they call us.
It's pretty dudes.
The crazy thing is, there's been times and she's still a friend, and she, what you call it, she did something for me that I don't know. I might explain this before too, but for those that didn't see it, if I didn't say it, fine. If I did, cool. She gave me one of the best lessons ever in terms of being in a sexual relationship and capping the relationship off. Because she did it without even telling me. And it wasn't harmful. This was somebody that was already making six figures 15 years ago. And she's still thriving in what she does. So you can imagine where she's at financially. Now, mind you, she's married and everything now, with kids and everything. Actually still great friends. And when I was talking to her, I remember trying to build with her. And she just listened. She didn't give off anything negative. She didn't say, let me stop you there, or nothing. But she did kind of get ghosted after a while. And she didn't tell me that's why she got ghosted. I had to realize why she got ghosted. Because we're talking about the level she was at. At the time, she's making six figures, high six figures. I'm up here making less than, no lie, probably, I'm getting paid every week from a tip agency about $270 after taxes. To be perfectly honest. But I get it. I see what the package is saying. You know what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted. I was making, trust me, this is when I was making that $270 a week, this is where not drinking and not smoking came into, because I don't have to go to the clubs and pop bottles. I don't gotta get high for it. I'm always was clean. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be presentable. I'm always, if I need a haircut, I'll call up my man Negro. I'm going to be fresh. I might, whatever I got in my pocket is everything I got in my bag, Brandon. But that's not, I'm not walking in the club like I'm Mr. Big Spender. I'm just being me. So we wound up dealing whatever. She had friends, whatever. They was like, yo, he's such and such. So we had a relationship. It was crazy because when she brought me back to her crib, I had to kind of compose myself because I was like, this is nice. And I couldn't be on let me start to be, because honestly, I'm the type of person, I'm the type of guy that you have to earn the right to spend money on me. I know it sounds weird, but I'm looking like, I don't want to be considered. Nobody's ever going to be like, put this, females can call me a lot of things. They're not going to call me a user. You know what I'm saying? I know that. I can be a cheater. I've been a cheater. I've been a something. I get it. But ain't no woman walking around is like, he used me. Nobody's saying that. And I take a little pride in that. You see what I'm saying? Type thing. So when it happened, I'm talking to her. I'm on my usher. Baby, I got plans. She's like, in her mind, I had to think about this after the fact. She's like, nigga, this train ain't on the same track. Not even close. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Concorde. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you a skateboard. You see what I'm saying? It's like thing. And she didn't, the thing that was so dope about it, the fact that we're still friends, is because she didn't make me feel bad. She didn't do nothing malicious against me. It was something I had to understand. So I get the whole, how you talked at the beginning, equally yoked and stuff. Guys and women in life too, you have to know where you are in life yourself. Because a person ain't always playing you. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes that gap is a real gap.
Sometimes you play yourself.
You know what I'm saying? It's a real gap. One of my favorite movies, Hitch. When the scene when he was like Allegra Cole, he was like her last boyfriend owned Sweden. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. It's levels. And it's like, yo, sometimes it's not about saying, I don't want to approach that man, I don't want to approach that woman because they're so far ahead. Because there's exceptions, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that person will pull you up.
Right.
But a lot of times you can't really roll the dice on that one for that to happen. You could be the most down-to-earth, coolest person ever. Y'all trains just aren't on the same tracks. And it's just you're never going to meet in the night. Your two trains are never going to pass each other at night. And you got to live with that. And then, like I said, me and this woman is still cool. She got a beautiful family now. I have nothing negative to say about her at all. Mm-hmm. But she
lesson learned.
That was a lesson learned. That was a lesson learned. So
she was using your broke ass for sex.
You know what they say?
Well,
right,
but seriously, before we get out of here, we really need to address the fact that Monique's husband looks just like Gray. You tried to cut it last time.
Yeah. Except for I think Monique's husband, his beard, he keeps his beard up a little sharper. Yeah. Greg, do you like fedoras? But I like to thank my homegirl Sheena for coming through, blessing us and everything. Willie Negro, my man Lil Bro.
Thanks for the invite.
Thank you.
Course,
thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody.
Ocean's View will be back. We're going to do our thing next week. Peace.
Peace.